Great. Then I like to move around. I probably can see what I'm doing better. Really appreciate the invitation by Bonnie to come and do this. I feel like I'm your neighbor. Our office for the Ohio Beef Council and the Ohio Cattlemen's Association is just up on State Route 42. So if you're connecting through Avery Road and Jerome's Road, we're real close there. And in fact, just a few years ago, they told us we probably would have to relocate, before we kind of saw the bottom fall out of the housing market as we saw some developments that were positioned to head up that way. So again, appreciate the opportunity. And what I want to do is just share with you a little bit about who we are, the Ohio Beef Council, the Ohio Cattlemen's Association, what we do, maybe some things about beef that perhaps you didn't know that might surprise you. Some new information from both a nutrition standpoint and an animal care standpoint, just in the few minutes that we have here. So that's kind of the plan. And we have two entities, as I mentioned, the Ohio Beef Council. The Ohio Beef Council is the entity that actually most of the commodities have something that is funded by a checkoff, if you will. I don't know how familiar you are with checkoffs. It's either a state or a federal checkoff program. Most of the commodities, corn, beef, pork, lamb, if you will, producer funded, producer directed. And you can see our mission, obviously, to increase the demand for beef. This next slide's really busy. I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, but you can kind of see some of the ways that we do that. And it's changed over the years. I've been there quite a while, and the things that we used to do probably don't make as much sense today. Today, we find out that a lot of consumers are 3 and 4 generations removed from farming. They don't have grandma or grandpa, that they could go to the farm in the summer and spend the summers on the farm and learn about things. So, they're probably a little bit more curious in terms of what really happens on the farm. And so we spend a lot of time talking about that with consumers. Obviously, we work with influencers in terms of our nutrition story and a lot of other information like that. As I said, we're funded by the checkoff. It's $1 per head at the point of sale. That money is pooled together. Part of it stays in the state of Ohio that we collect here, and part of it is pooled at the national level. And you all know our tagline. Anybody give that to me? Seen our advertising, heard our advertising?
What's for dinner?
Beef is what's for dinner. Who was that?
What's the beef?
Well, yeah. Who was that? The one that called it out. I got a name for it for you.
Everybody's invited to Phil's house for barbecue.
And you can see some of the things. This is just an example of some of the programs we're doing here in the state of Ohio. Our dollars actually in Ohio are very, very limited, right at only about $300,000 that we're able to spend in the state on 11.5 million consumers. And if I was talking to a producer audience, I would talk about the need to increase our checkoff in the state of Ohio, and we're actually talking about doing that, as some states have, just to be able to have more dollars. You mentioned the Clippers. We're actually doing a promotion with them. We'll be there on Friday night next week, the Striking Out Hunger with Lean Beef. That's a partnership between Ohio Soybean, Ohio Corn, Kroger, and the Clippers. And for every strikeout that the Clippers have this season, we donate a pound of beef to the food bank, and Kroger matches it. So that's just one of the things that we're doing. We also do some athletic things for people that are really active in terms of racing and those kinds of things. That's Team Beef, so you can see some of the different things there. And the Ohio Cattlemen's Association, I mentioned, that is our industry trade organization. That's the other entity, and really the big firewall or bridge between the two is when we're talking about beef council funds, we have to use those dollars strictly for beef, for anything that promotes the use of beef, increasing the demand for beef and veal. We can't use them for anything on the policy side or the public policy side. Well, that's where the Cattlemen's Association comes in, our industry trade organization, almost solely membership driven here. And we've got right at over 2,000 families in the state of Ohio that are members of the Ohio Cattlemen's Association. We actually publish a magazine on a regular basis and do a number of different things. And you can kind of see some of the things in terms of our mission. And what our focus really is in terms of sharing information, working on the legislative and regulatory side, social, obviously, improvement programs, all those kinds of things that are there before you.